This story is part of our special collection, The Sensory Gifts. If you love stories that celebrate neurodiversity and autism, you can find this and other stories like it on our website. There once was a granny named Wampus, also known as Old Ma, who lived in the deep hollows of the Appalachian Mountains. Now, the hollows were mysterious and magical places, tucked away between the misty mountain peaks, filled with ancient trees that had seen more seasons than anyone could count, and whispering winds that carried secrets older than time itself. These hollows weren't just empty spaces. No, sorry. They were brimming with spirits and energies that hummed beneath the surface of things, waiting to be understood. In one of these secluded hollows lived Granny Wampus, a woman who understood these whispers better than anyone around. Her cabin, a bit crooked and patched together with odd bits of wood and stones, sat like a worn, well-loved rug, blending seamlessly with the rugged landscape. She wasn't your typical mountain woman. No. Granny Wampus had a way about her, a certain spark in her eye, and a knowing smile on her lips that suggested she knew things most folks couldn't even dream of. The locals called her a witch, not because she brewed nasty potions or flew on broomsticks, but because she knew so much, too much for an old mountain woman, they'd say, shaking their heads in bewilderment. But the truth was Granny Wampus wasn't a witch at all. She was just deeply attuned to the rhythms of the mountains and the energies that swirled around them, understanding their whispers and sharing their wisdom with anyone who'd listen. Deep in the heart of these whispering mountains, life unfolded at its own slow, deliberate pace. Days were measured by the rising and setting of the sun, the changing hues of the sky, and the language of the birds. And amidst this timeless existence, Granny Wampus carried on her quiet, enigmatic life, forever bound to the mystical embrace of the whispering hollows. Now, you might be thinking this granny sounds pretty eccentric, and you're right. But you know what? She was just a neurodivergent woman trying to make sense of the world and share her knowledge with others. You see, Granny Wampus had her own unique way of experiencing the world. It wasn't easy being neurodivergent back then. There weren't many who understood her or accepted her for who she was. But instead of hiding away, she sought solace in the mountains, finding kindred spirits in the rustling leaves and the babbling brooks. One day, a knock echoed at Granny Wampus's door. Standing on her porch was a young boy with wide, curious eyes and a mop of unruly hair sticking out at odd angles. His name was Silas, and he had a peculiar gift. You see, Silas had always heard sounds that others couldn't. The wind sang to him, the trees whispered secrets, and the very earth seemed to hum with a melody only he could tune into. But while these sounds were music to his ears, They were often a source of confusion and worry for the townsfolk. They'd bring their sick and ailing to Granny Wampus, hoping her mountain magic could cure what ailed them. But she saw something different. She saw a boy with a keen ear and an even keener heart. As the years passed, more children found their way to Granny Wampus's cabin. Elara came shuffling in first, her eyes bright with wonder. Everything she touched sent a jolt of sensation through her fingertips, making her entire body feel like a living map of the world around her. Then there was Maeve, timid and small, who could smell a brewing thunderstorm long before the sky darkened, and tasted the sweetness of honeysuckle in the air. Each child was unique. Their senses finely tuned instruments that allowed them to perceive the world in ways others couldn't even imagine. Now, these sensory adventures weren't just fun. They were educational, too. Granny Wampus taught them to identify medicinal herbs by their unique sounds, textures, and smells, guiding them to become skilled foragers and natural healers. With Silas's sharp ears, they'd identify the gurgling stream that marked the grove of watercress, a valuable herbal remedy. Elara, with her hypersensitive touch, would feel the smooth surface of feverfew leaves, knowing its soothing properties by the very feel of them. And Maeve's nose, it led them to the faintest scent of ginseng hidden beneath layers of fallen leaves. At first, the townsfolk thought these sensory adventures were just make-believe, a product of the Wampus woman's wild imagination. But as the children grew older and their skills sharpened, people began to take notice. They watched in awe as these peculiar children diagnosed ailments by the sound of a cough or the texture of a rash, then prepared remedies using herbs identified by their unique qualities. The community of Poor Valley was in desperate need of such skills, and word spread far and wide about the Wampus woman's uncanny methods and her remarkable children. It wasn't always easy. There were times when Silas's sensitive hearing made everyday life unbearable, when Elara's keen sense of touch caused her pain, and when Maeve's powerful nose led her to smells that were both intriguing and overwhelming. But Granny Wampus understood their struggles. She knew what it was like to feel different, to be misunderstood. So she guided them, teaching them how to navigate the world with their unique abilities and how to use them to help others. One day, a terrible illness swept through Poor Valley, leaving people weak and hopeless. Traditional medicine offered little relief, and the community turned to Granny Wampus for help. She listened intently to the coughs and studied the rashes, then instructed the children to gather specific herbs based on what they heard, felt, and smelled. Silas scurried off to the gurgling stream to collect watercress. Elara rushed to the soft moss-covered rocks to gather smooth, round stones for grinding. And Maeve tracked down the faint aroma of sweet woodruff, hidden beneath layers of fallen leaves. Together, they created a tonic unlike any other, a blend of sights, sounds, textures, and smells that held the key to healing. As the sun set over the whispering hollers, casting long shadows across the mountains, the community of Poor Valley watched with bated breath. Would this strange concoction work? Was it just another wild scheme of the Wampus woman? But as the first rays of dawn peeked over the horizon, the answer became clear. The tonic worked. The illness began to subside, replaced by the sweet melody of recovery. News of their success spread like wildfire, and soon people from neighboring towns sought out the Wampus woman and her peculiar children. Their once mocked abilities became their greatest asset, allowing them to thrive in a world that was finally recognizing their value. But throughout it all, Granny Wampus remained humble, knowing that their success wasn't because of any mountain magic, but because of their unique ways of experiencing the world. She had simply shown them how to use their abilities, not just survive, but thrive. And so, in the heart of the whispering hollers, surrounded by the ancient wisdom of the mountains, Granny Wampus, along with her sensory-gifted children, continued to heal and teach, proving that what was different was not just accepted, but celebrated, their story echoing through the ages, a testament to the power of understanding, acceptance, and the extraordinary abilities of those who hear, feel, and smell the world in their own unique ways.